You're listening to the Things You Don't Hear in Church podcast, a show where your hosts, Derry and Ethan, discuss the controversial topics often avoided by the church. They also discuss culture, society, and everyday goofs. And now, Derry and Ethan.
What is up? We're back.
Hello.
Another podcast episode.
You're listening to the Things You Don't Hear in Church podcast, where we talk about the gray areas of the Christian faith, giving you good answers with a biblical worldview to your very good questions that maybe you haven't found answers to. When before Derry and I started the show, we would talk to people on the streets and hear about their experience. They'd always say like, "Oh, I left the faith because I had this question and no one answered it." And I would be like, me and Derry would both be like, "Man, these are not hard questions." And then that kind of prompted us to think, oh, maybe everyone else has these questions too, and we should maybe be a voice into helping them answer them. So that's why we're here. That's why we exist. That's what we want to do. Question, Derry, can you turn off the AC?
Oh yeah, we always forget to do that.
We always forget to do the AC. We record our podcast in our room. If you would like to financially sow into this ministry so we can get a studio.
No, don't ever say so again.
So you need to sow into our ministry, and God will sow into your heavenly
Brother.
bank. I was
You'll reap the financial provision,
was
brother,
like
if you sow into our ministry.
When I was 18, I was driving to work, and I heard this Christian radio station. I thought, oh, cool, Christian radio station. And then like a break came or something like that, and he got this part of the sermon. He's like, I feel the Lord telling me that there's 7 of you who need to give exactly $400. And I was like,
exactly.
what, bro? You got like thousands of people listening to you. You know what you're doing. More than 7 people are going to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put my coffee down like that again. That was very loud. Anyways, today we are talking to you guys about
stuff,
a cultural controversy, if you will.
Kind of been going on for a little bit.
Yeah, one of our friends, Madison, brought this up to us the other day, and we didn't know anything about it. So
I know about it.
I didn't know anything about it. So I looked into it. Darren and I talked about it. We were like, yeah, we should do a show on this. And I'm not gonna tell our friend Madison that we gave her a shout out because we're just gonna see if she listens to the show.
Yeah, she doesn't.
So, because she said, you guys better give me a shout out. Well, here it is.
Here's your shout out, Madison.
That you won't listen to this show.
Yes. But we still love you.
Yeah. But yeah, so Converse recently put out an ad on Instagram promoting their new shoes regarding pentagrams and stuff. And so right now on the screen, it's going to appear for you guys so you can look at that, take it in. For people who are on audio, if you haven't seen it, it's 2 people. One guy standing up with his legs crossed, and another girl's or a guy, like they were dressed up in weird outfits. Can't really tell.
Well, might be a girl. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then
they have masks on.
Yeah, they have masks and really skin tight outfits and stuff. They're really skinny, but whatever it is, they make the
being
shape.
skinny is demonic. By the way, that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, eat the bread of life. Why are you skinny?
Why are you skinny? Yeah.
Podcast.
Obviously,
over.
You're not eating enough of the bread of life. If you were truly in the Word and the bread every day, you wouldn't be that skinny.
Come on now. Come on.
All right.
But yeah, so Converse released this picture. It was 2 people, and the way they're posed was a pentagram, and then they flipped the picture upside down. And then they talked about how the idea behind it was that they believe, and this is on their Instagram caption, right? It's very easy to find. And it says, we believe that like all different walks of life are worth celebrating, understanding, and we think this is a sign of empathy and understanding and this, which is interesting, that they would say it's a sign of empathy. I don't know what the actual like meaning behind it is.
Of empathy?
No, not behind the pentagram. I'm gonna look it up right now. Oh. Like, what does the pentagram symbolize?
I mean, I'm sure it means something to everybody, something different to everybody, right?
Maybe
it does, but yeah, I'm sure there's like a generic definition.
For me, it means Satan.
Yeah. So Converse, like, they partnered with a guy named Rick Owens, I think is his name, and they made a line of Satan shoes. Is what they're called. They're called Satan shoes.
Kind of like Nike did.
Yeah, it's like the devil shoes that Nike made with like the fake human blood that was in them, supposedly, and stuff like that. That they got. Well, it wasn't even Nike. It was Lil Nas and Nike suing him because they looked like Nikes.
They weren't his shoes. Wait,
no.
He didn't team up with Nike?
No. That's why he's getting sued for it.
Whoa.
Because he just made the shoes, but they like. I don't know if it was a joke or if it was legit or what it was, but yeah, right. Nike's suing him for copyright stuff. But yeah, it's a very similar thing, right? They came off like at the same time, and Converse is kind of like riding the wave because those are so popular. Right? Kind of like riding the wave of that popularity a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
did you look up the definition?
I tried finding it. It was not the easy, so I did.
I've known the definition of a pentagram before. I don't know why I'm spacing.
I just couldn't get it fast enough for the show, so I decided not to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, so a bunch of Christians naturally were upset, and a lot of people in America were upset, and now a lot of people apparently are boycotting the Converse. And it's kind of surprising, not surprising, because maybe the boycotting is surprising in a way, but not really, because what else do you expect? But what I want to ask people is, like, are you surprised? Are you shocked that a non-Christian company would do something that's non-Christian? Do you find it?
Yeah, it's actually super interesting. It says a pentagram is just Wikipedia. It says a pentagram is a 5-point star with all lines the same length, just like defining it basically.
What about being in a circle?
And then it says the word pentacle originally meant any symbol that protects against evil spirits.
Huh.
Which is super interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because you see in like most modern day like media and film and stuff like that, it's a symbol to summon evil.
Yeah, and fear.
Usually.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that was popularized in like the 70s and 80s with like the serial killers who used it and like the kind of extreme like side of the cults that used it for like Satan worship and stuff like that. I'm sure it's used for other reasons as well. That's just kind of what it's popular for in the mainstream media.
Yeah. And a pentagram more like often understood as like a star, upside down star in a circle, right?
Yeah.
In today's culture. But yeah, guys, the question is like, are we shocked? Are you shocked, Derek, that a non-Christian company would do something non-Christian?
No.
Me neither. And
Not
the
phased.
thing is like, guys, Converse has been a pentagram forever. It's always been a star in a circle. This is not a new thing. It's not new that it's a pentagram. Captain America has a pentagram on his shield. There's if we're talking about pentagram as a star in a circle, you got Captain America, you got Converse forever, and so and probably other companies I can think of.
Did you already say Converse has done this for a long time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Their circle with like the star in it is a pentagram. It's just not like the lines aren't touching the circle. Like the star isn't touching the circle. But technically it is representing a pentagram. Like in their article they released with the Satan shoes, they're like it looks more like a pentagram now, but like you don't realize that it's always been a pentagram.
Always has been.
Yeah. And like they released that statement. They're like, you just didn't know it before, but like it's always been a pentagram. And it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the thing that we have to realize is, and this is something I was talking about on Saturday, is which it means nothing to you guys. What I was saying was that you can't expect non-Christians to act like Christians. You can't expect non-Christian companies to do Christian things, right? And because I've seen a lot of Christians being upset and boycotting Converse and saying, this is terrible, why are we supporting this, why are we doing this, let's like get rid of them, they're bad, cancel culture, cancel Converse. And if you would like to hear about cancel culture, here's a little link up here for you guys, where another show that we did about cancel culture and Christians regarding cancel culture.
Pog.
But yeah, like, man, we as Christians cannot expect the world to do Christian things. It's not realistic. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen per se.
They don't follow the same moral guidelines. They don't have the same spirit inside of them, right? Their desires have been changed. So people are just influenced by whatever worldview they have, and they're going to do whatever they want to do or whatever their worldview says is good to do, right? And that's not going to be what our worldview says is good to do or what the spirit inside of us says is good to do. So we shouldn't expect them to act the same way, right? I'm not fazed by a company like acting differently than I do. That's what I expect to happen. So my expectation has not been disregarded, or it has not been broken when like they do what I expected them to do. You know what I mean?
Right. And the thing to realize is that if your idea, so the reason people are boycotting Converse is because Converse is doing something anti-God. And so we need to boycott them because they're anti-God. And essentially bare bones, right? But we don't realize is that every famous brand out there, like Nike, like Walmart, iPhone. Walmart has so many terrible things. H&M, all these big companies, they profit off the backs of ungodliness. And the question is like, well, how far do you go in like when do you reject companies who are going to be ungodly?
What do you mean by ungodliness? Like they profit off ungodliness?
Like how
like the means of distribution and stuff like that?
Yeah, like how it's
production?
It's unethical how they get their sources.
Okay,
like iPhone, it has factories in China where they've actually put nets in between the buildings because so many people were jumping out of the buildings trying to kill themselves.
Yeah.
And the net catches them, they go back to work, right? And that's iPhone. I have an iPhone right here. I have a MacBook right in front of me.
Yeah.
And we're using these products that are profiting off of human
Slave
slavery.
labor.
It's slave labor, actually. And Converse probably gets their shoes from that, and Nike probably gets their shoes from that. We get fake Yeezys.
So I only buy Adidas.
Because Adidas doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Adidas does. All these big name companies live off the backs of unethical production. So if now it's just publicized, in my mind, I'm like, why? I don't think you can justifiably say I'm going to boycott Converse because they look like a pentagram. They've been a pentagram forever. And also, you have probably an iPhone or Android that was made by slaves. And the moral question for me, and I still deal with this, I still don't know the answer to it, is like, how do I justify owning all these things when I kind of feel like I need them to be a part of society now, but I don't want to affirm the unethical things that happen, like what? That's the thing I'm always struggling with, like how much, and like, do I just go back to old phone? Do I buy used phones? Do I buy used clothes? All that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like in that aspect of it, the best thing to do would be to be proactive in trying to force the companies to not do those things anymore, which as it becomes more popular and like more people are aware of it, like more laws get passed and stuff. I would say that's the best thing you can do, because you not buying an iPhone doesn't matter.
Right.
Because the rest of the world is going to buy them. Or an Android or any other major phone distributor. Like, they all do the same thing, right? So, like, bringing light to the situation, I would say, is the best thing you can do. In my mind, not on that vein of thinking, in my mind, this issue, we've kind of talked about is, like, why are we mad at them for, like, doing something that's kind of blatantly evil when they do things that are subliminally evil all the time that we just don't see, like, that are in the background, right? That's kind of the thing, the vein of thinking that we're in, right? And why do we think that, like, the pentagram is so much more evil than, like, them exploiting people in their work, and, like, how much they pay them for the shoes that they make, or, like, the phones they make, or whatever it is, right? Kind of the comparison of those two evils. And I think it's really just because the pentagram is, like, a blatant, like, fear symbol, right? Of, like, oh, this is the devil symbol. Like, they're promoting the devil. And there's a fear around it when it, like, comes to Christians, where it's like, oh, this is an evil symbol. They're promoting, like, evil. Like, ooh, that's, like, a big deal, right? It's more, like, in your face and more, like, blatant with the evilness of it, I guess. Like, they're not trying to hide it, right? Like, they're trying to hide how they manufacture these things. But, like, them putting that symbol on a shoe isn't trying to hide it. And what I think a lot of people are afraid of, which I think is interesting, we can talk about this, is, like, people, Christians, don't want, like, Satanism and those symbols, and especially, like, the worship of evil, normalized in culture. That's what I think, like, a lot of the outrage is about. Which I have some interesting thoughts about. I haven't thought about it fully through, but on one hand, I'm kind of like, yeah, of course, I don't want, like, Satan to get, like, praise, but on the same kind of hand, like, he is, no matter what. Like, this is just blatant, and instead of being hidden, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I kind of like that it's not hidden and then it's blatant, because now it's just obvious what's always been happening. And now, if people are going to start to, like, worship Satan or worship, like, these images, and hey, maybe, like, it's not what I think it means, right? And I have, like, a warped view of what the pentagram is and what it's been used for in the past. Maybe that's true. But if it's a symbol that it is what I think that it has been used for in the past, which is like a Satanist symbol, right?
Wiccan, yeah.
Yeah, if that's what it is, and it's glorifying Satan, like, and people start believing in that evil, that's, like, good for our culture, I think, because, and that sounds weird, but because it forces people to take a side on good and evil existing.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, because before, like, there hasn't been this line drawn in our culture of, like, oh, this is good and this is bad. It's sort of been kind of subjective, like, whatever you think is good or bad, you live out your, like, truth, right?
Yeah.
But if people start drawing this line in the sand of, no, we want to accept this, like, evil thing of, like, worshiping Satan, and people start to experience this evil, then people are going to experience, oh, there's two sides of the spectrum. There's the good side and there's the evil side, right? And they start to worship this evil side, and they real quick start to realize, like, oh, like, I want to be on the good side of this whole thing, right? And they start to experience the spectrum there is of good and evil. Could be beneficial for some people. Definitely, obviously, don't want people to like worship Satan and don't want the symbol to be like popularized or normalized. But I think the Lord can still use it, and people can still come to know the Lord like through people like doing terrible things. And also, it's just an outward projection of where people's hearts have been already. They've just been like that in secret, right? And now it's just on the face of like a popular company and not like in the background anymore, right? It's no longer like a small star inside of a shoe or inside of a circle. Now it's just a plain pentagram on the shoe.
Right. I really like that point of view, that it forces someone to choose a side. You know, I think I agree with that, and I enjoy that because, no longer is it this quiet thing of like, it's like, because before it's kind of, you could like, maybe if Converse is demonic and they wanted to have Christians wearing the shoes, they're kind of laughing like, haha, we got these Christians who wear pentagrams, they don't know. And now it's out there, you know, you get to choose. And there is a drastic line in the sand between like what's godly and what's not godly, and what's evil and what's not evil. And for the Christians, I want to say, like, you know, we're not, like I said earlier, we shouldn't expect non-Christians or non-Christian corporations to act like Christians. But also, I don't think we need to respond with offense or anger or frustration or fear, right? Like, as Christians, we should be the most joy-filled people, you know, the most bold people out there, the most kind people out there, because we can be secure in the fact that we rest in truth. You know, if God exists and it's the God of the Bible, then that means that we are so okay and content in life and with anything that gets thrown at us, because we have security knowing we have a relationship with the most powerful being in the universe. And therefore, anything that gets thrown at us that's anti-God or anti-Christ, anything in the culture that's anti-Christ, we don't have to be afraid of and retreat from and be scared of. We can say, you know what? No, these people who are acting this out, these people who are promoting this, they're not my enemy. Because Ephesians says that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers of the air, you know, and of darkness. And so it's not the people that are the problem. It's the demonic ideologies behind it. It's the demonic spirits behind the people that are manipulating that person to do that thing, right? The Bible talks about how people who are sinners are slaves to sin. They're just doing what's natural, or they're being forced like victims, you know. And so our mindset's not like, oh, CEO of Converse is bad. It should be, oh, there's a demonic presence in America that's kind of boasting its power right now by doing this, and I need to pray against that. I need to pray against demonic influence in America. I need to pray against demonic influence in the business world. And then you do intercession, right? And to encourage us real quick, like, the Bible also talks about that our weapons of warfare are capable of taking down strongholds, right? So if we wrestle with demonic principalities and our weapons of warfare are capable of taking down strongholds, what are our weapons, right? Well, it's prayer. That's like the most basic thing, right? It's prayer. It's the name of Jesus. That's the authority of Christ in your life and how you proclaim it and live it out. And that means that we have to be serious Christians. You know, we have to be serious about intercession. We have to be serious about evangelism. We can speak out and say, hey guys, this is wrong. We cannot be promoting this evil. But we don't have to be outrageously angry. If you feel like I can't wear Converse anymore, no problem. That's between you and your conviction and your conscience. I'm not going to tell you have to wear Converse. I have a pair of Converse and I'm probably going to still wear them. You know, but we can't retreat. We can't get like overtly offended. We just have to say, you know what? This makes sense. Like, we know what kind of world we're in. We know that the culture we live in doesn't glorify God anyways. I'm gonna still press on. I'm gonna still pray for those people to find freedom and love in Christ, and that they repent and come and become Christians. And I'm gonna keep loving them. You know, because we have the power of God inside of us, and we should be secure enough in our relationship with God that anything culture doesn't like scare us or worry or make us get worried to the point of like backing off from doing what we're supposed to do. Yeah.
And I'd just like to say there's no reason to be afraid. You know, like, the devil isn't like winning or gaining ground or anything by like having his symbol on a shoe or a symbol that glorifies him, right? Like, Christ has already won the victory, and he's still in complete control, and he still has all of the power, right? There's no reason to be afraid or like fear the position that you are in this world, right? The enemy has power, but God has all of the power, right? And he's inside of you, and he's all around you, and you have him inside. You have like his spirit inside of you, and you also know his word, hopefully, right? And you can speak out his word. Hopefully, you know truth. and you meditate on it, like if you have all those things, like there's no reason to be afraid. You know what side you're on, and no matter what like culture is doing around you, you're not like a part of that, right? You're not supposed to be of this world, and so you have everything you need. Like you have all the weapons that you need to like fight against this battle. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I had another thought, but I forgot what I was going to say.
I can just repeat verbatim everything I said, and when it comes back to you, you can say it.
There's something about the pentagram, but I don't remember. That's all my thoughts.
Yeah. So be encouraged. This world is demonic and against God naturally. So when things come out publicly that happen, we don't got to be surprised. We can just say, you know what? I know, and this is where I am, and I'm only like a sojourner here, as the Bible calls us. And I have a mission to evangelize the world and get people saved, and I can still do that regardless of how terrible cultures get.
Yeah.
Because if this is what's gonna get you on your edge, like it's only gonna get worse. Let me encourage you.
Let me encourage
probably
you.
It's only gonna get worse. This is gonna be easy compared to what maybe our kids' generations will have to go through.
Maybe.
Potentially, we don't know, but. If certain political parties have their way and America becomes more of a communist-leaning country and becomes socialist, then we're probably going to end up in some oppression or something like that, like Venezuela and Cuba and China and North Korea. It's probably not going to be great. And so I would say take it as it comes and enjoy the day and know that God has a mission for you today. And if it gets worse, you can still find joy and hope in the Lord Jesus, and our mission doesn't change just because the situation around us changes. Christians have gone through far worse things all throughout history than companies promoting demonic symbols. And so if they can make it, then so can we. And we have the same God that worked with them. So,
Amen.
So yeah, be blessed.
Have a nice day.
Yeah. Check us out on all the social medias except for Facebook and Twitter. We got a Patreon.
Also, shout out Serena if you're listening to this. You're cool.
Okay.
Congratulations.
I don't know what happened, but congrats.
On beating COVID.
Oh, she had COVID?
You did it.
Or she beat up COVID?
She did. She beat it up.
Nice.
Great job.
Found a COVID patient.
She started beating him up. No, she had COVID.
Oh.
She probably not. I don't know how many people listen to this end part, so maybe didn't hear this, but
maybe not. But yeah, we got TikTok, Instagram, Patreon. If you want us to get out of the studio and or not get out
our
of the
couch.
Studio, you want us to get off of our couch and into a real studio? Send us lots of money.
or don't, whatever you want.
Whatever. We like to produce this content for free.
It's fun.
If we did this because we got paid, we wouldn't do it.
What? I would.
No, I said if we did this because we got paid. Like we wouldn't. If we were only doing this for money, we
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Because we
I was like, I'll do this for money. What?
No, I will do this. I want to do this for money.
Yeah.
I want this to be my career.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, stop listening. Turn it off already. Get out of here.